Now that we're clear of the mountains, we can start descending toward the runway. Reduce power and let's start down. The wind is blowing from the west, so we'll land on runway 29er. We always want to land into the wind.
Hey guys, AviationGames here, and today we're going to be doing the Sitka approach FSX mission. So for this approach, we're just going to fly straight ahead here, following this river.
See that Cessna Caravan out there? We can follow him all the way to the airport. I'll announce our position so he knows we're here. Sitka traffic, Cessna 6 Charlie Mike, 8 miles southeast. We'll be straight in for runway 29er. We have the caravan in sight.
Alright, so as I was saying there before all that went on, we're going to fly straight ahead here, following this river in front of us, and then in between here, basically, we're going to make a left turn, fly over here, in between there, and make a right turn to line up with the runway 29er at Sitka. So that's just a very quick briefing about what we'll be doing on this approach. He's going to say, okay, maneuver is necessary in a second. So once he says that, then we'll begin our turn to the left.
Caravan 25 Tango is on final, runway 29er.
Follow the caravan all the way in. Add a notch of flaps and slow down a bit. We can't land until he's off the runway.
Alright, so
okay, maneuver is necessary to start lining up with the runway.
So we still just do maneuver as necessary. So we're going to start our left turn here. Use about 10 degrees of bank. We don't need very much. Okay, looks good. We could descend a little bit more. Just trim for that. We want to stay between about 700 and 800 feet per minute. We're just over 800 feet per minute at the minute. So another notch of nose up trim should be fine to keep us where we want to be. Bring the power back a little bit more. We're at about 110 knots here. The aircraft's having a hard time trimming to stay at that vertical speed. Bring the power back down a little bit. There we go. Might even need a little bit more nose up trim in a second. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, so we're at an altitude now of about 2,400 feet. Turn off to the left just a little bit so that it makes it easier for us to line up with the runway here. And I actually think we're just a little too high, so this will help us to lose some altitude. Is probably the best word to use there. Alright, so we're just turning on to final.
Slow to 65 knots and add the rest of the flaps as we slow down. Let's maintain 65 knots on final.
Okay, so we're going to slow
Sitka traffic,
down
Cessna 6 Charlie Mike on final for runway 29er.
We made that turn just a little too late. No worries. There we go, we're pretty much lined up with the runway now. And we're just going to use the poppy lights
Sitka traffic, Caravan 25 Tango is clear of the runway.
So that we know that we're on the right glide path into the runway. So currently it's showing that we're too high. It shouldn't do that for much longer. And we're just making small corrections on the aircraft to keep it lined up with the runway on the center line. Flying towards the center line at the minute. Okay. Flaps down. Alright, we look to be absolutely perfect. Bring the nose up, throttle to idle. And perfect touchdown in the middle of the runway, more or less. So apply the brakes, slow down, and we're going to vacate on
Nice
the right
landing.
hand side. Thank you. That's our invisible co-pilot here telling us that was a nice landing. Alright. We can bring the flaps back up again. And we're gonna just continue our taxi until we reach the point where we vacate the runway. Add a little more power. I want to keep the aircraft nice and slow for the taxi so that we don't end up losing control of it. Well, not that we'd lose control, just so it's easier to control it with the rudder. So this is about slow enough. Right, that's maybe even just a little bit too slow. We're almost stationary here. Alright. There we go. This is pretty good. So we're going to keep the throttle roughly about here. Just keep applying the brakes every so often so that we don't taxi too fast. Just takes small corrections to turn this aircraft with the rudder. It really doesn't take very much at all. These light aircrafts are very sensitive on the controls, especially when you're used to flying big jets like Airbus A320 like me. I'm a big Airbus fan, but yeah, you can probably see my frame rates at the minute aren't absolutely amazing. I'm getting between about 15 to 20 here, but that's because I've just boosted everything up for the recording. But I'm going to get a new computer soon, hopefully, so if I get that, then everything will be running a whole lot smoother. Alright, so we're going to bring this up so the wings are level with this. That looks to be okay. Alright, so anyway guys, this has been Aviation Games bringing you episode 1 of FSX missions. Hope you liked, please stay tuned for more, but for now it is goodbye.